Okay guys, hope you've had time to digest yesterday's video, because we're going to jump right in today. Let's continue our quest to stay 4 shots ahead. And so today, we're going to talk about it. Let's talk tennis. Welcome back to the Tennis Scholar. Thanks for riding with me this morning. Alright guys, so if you haven't seen yesterday's video, I don't recommend you jump into today's. Yesterday we went over a simple exercise that allowed us to clear our minds and allowed us to make observations while we're playing. Exercise number 2 is going to require a little bit more work. Definitely going to require the involvement of your coach. And essentially what we're going to learn to do with exercise number 2 is organize our clubs. In order to do this, you have to have a clear understanding of your tactics. If you have not worked on tactics with your coach, I suggest you schedule a session to go over some simple tactics so that you can start working on this exercise. Okay, so quick note guys, I'm going to generalize a lot here, because it's not my intention to change your tactics or whatever it is you've been working on with your coaches. And so use your tactics and apply them to this exercise, okay? Okay guys, so step 2 is really a series of exercises, if you will. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna compartmentalize your entire tactical game. That will be your first piece of the next step, is break up your tactical game, break it up into shots of maybe 2 to 4 at a maximum. Make sure you keep them small so that they're easier to drill. And so once you've done that, we're going to use a 2-step process to 1, organize, and 2, learn to start looking ahead in the points. So the first step here is, once you've broken up your tactical game, take that first sequence and drill nothing but that. Just drill it until it becomes a habit. Take a good 2 to 4 weeks, obviously depending on how much you're on the court. You may be able to just take 2 weeks. If not, if you're on the court 3 to 5 days a week, probably 2 weeks should be enough. It might take you 4 weeks. Okay, so 2 to 4 weeks. Drill nothing but that. You'll notice when you've got it down, because when you go into matches, you'll start to see these sequences as they start to happen. Once you're there, then you can move on to step 2. So step 2 is where you'll start to actually look ahead. So because you've taken the time to learn that sequence, you can almost put your mind in autopilot for it. As soon as your mind sees that sequence, it already knows what's going to happen and how it's going to end, so it doesn't have to think about the next couple shots. You can jump ahead. Okay, so step 2 is going to be that final shot of your sequence. Take that shot and come up with the 2 most likely shots that your opponent has off of your last shot. And then once you've done that, with each one of those options, now you got to figure out what's your most favorable shot off of each one. Okay, once you've done that, then you're going to continue to drill. Alright, so quick break here to go over quickly what we've done. Alright, so we've compartmentalized our tactical game just enough to allow our minds to go into autopilot so that we can look ahead. We've identified the 2 most likely options for our opponent based off the last shot of our sequence, And we've also identified our best shot off of each of those two. Okay, so once you become efficient at this, you're now 2 shots ahead of your opponent. And to get to 4 shots, all you got to do is repeat the process one more time. And so off the last shot you hit, you're going to again come up with the 2 most likely scenarios for your opponent, and then your most favorable shot off of each one of those. And again, sky's the limit on that. You can keep going, but 4 should be very attainable. A couple things to note, guys. First, there's always a possibility that a third option is going to be hit by your opponent. So not one of the 2 more favorable shots that you chose for him. And so for that reason, you always should have a reset shot that will allow you, a plan B if you will, that will allow you to reset and start over so that you can execute what you want to execute. Number 2, this is going to require a great deal of patience. And so if you're hitting a 10-ball rally, you may have only been able to hit a sequence once, maybe twice. And so make sure your game is consistent enough so that you can execute the sequences as often as you need to, okay? Number 3, it's important to understand that this method is playing to the game of percentages. There's other possibilities out there, but if you're playing to high percentages, then you have a higher possibility of ending up in a more favorable position, okay? Number 4, don't guess on where you think your opponent is going to go. You have chosen 2 most likely options. Use your split step to stay ready and watch your opponent's positioning near the ball right before they hit. That'll most likely give away where they're going to go. For example, if you pull them out wide and they're getting late to that ball, the odds of them going to the short angle cross court are slim, very slim. So most likely they're going to take that down the line, and you'll be able to pick up on that right before they hit it. If they're early enough, then you'll know that they have that option, that short angle option. But again, that's something that you'll be able to start picking up on as your opponent's hitting that ball. This is where you'll start to be able to prepare prior to your opponent hitting a shot, okay? And 5th, doing this whole process with your entire tactical game is going to take you a long time. So don't rush it, okay? It's going to be a marathon, not a sprint. So take your time with it, do it right, and once you finish, then you're going to come out on top. So good luck with it, guys. It is hard work, but you know, who said tennis was easy, right? Except for everybody who doesn't play tennis. So that's it for today, guys. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys are going to try this out, I'd love to hear how it's going. Let me know if you guys have any questions, comments. Remember to subscribe and give me a thumbs up if I've earned it. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.